So the first question is here, that is if cos hyperbolic of u plus iv is x plus iy, we have to prove this result. So just we'll start with the given part. Let me start with the given. I can write it here like x plus iy is cos hyperbolic u plus iv. Now there are two ways after this. If you know the cos hyperbolic identity or cos hyperbolic formula for a plus b, you can use it directly. Okay, you can use it directly, or you can convert cos hyperbolic into cosine function. Okay, so yes, anyone, which of the way you want to start here?
Sir, by applying the formula for cos hyperbolic a plus b and
Yes,
equating the real and imaginary
very
part.
good. So can you tell me the cos hyperbolic a plus b formula?
Cos hyperbolic u,
Very good. Cos hyperbolic u into,
cos hyperbolic I,
very good, cos hyperbolic iv, then yes, next term, this is a cos of a
minus
plus.
sin hyperbolic u,
Now remember why there is multiplication of sign, na? Cos a cos b minus sin a sin b, that is the formula of cos hyperbolic a plus b, is that? So for writing a hyperbolic, we should convert that minus to the plus. I hope you are getting why we are written that plus. Any doubt? See, the formula for cos of a plus b is a cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. Whenever there is a product of the sine function, we change its a sign there, or we negate it.
I was not audible, sir.
Yes, you are not audible. Now you are audible. Yeah. Is it okay?
Yes, sir, minus sign become plus by the
Yes,
multiplication
very
of
good.
two sign.
Next step, cos hyperbolic u, and cos hyperbolic iv is cos v only.
Cos v,
Sin hyperbolic iv is a I
I
times
sin.
sin v, correct. Now equating real and imaginary part. Yes, x becomes cos hyperbolic u into cos v, and y becomes sin hyperbolic u into sin v. Now we want these results. How we can prove it? How to get that required results here? Obviously, you will observe if we can convert this in terms of x upon cos hu. Now you can start this also and give this as equation 1 and 2. Give this as 1 and 2, or I will write it as equation 1 only. X square upon cos h square u plus y square upon sin h square u. So from 1, what is the value of x upon cos hu? It is cos v, na? So it becomes cos square v plus sin square v. And what is that answer? That is 1. This just will say by 1. And that's the required result. We got the first result. Also, if you take x square upon cos square v minus y square upon sin square v, we are considering this equation, left hand side. And now we are replacing value of x upon cos v. From equation 1, x upon cos v is a cos h square u minus y upon sin v. So y upon sin v is a sin hu. So sin h square u. So this is again 1. So again by 1. And that's the required proof. Okay, so it's a very trivial question actually. Just you have to equate real and imaginary part and replace the values of the required thing in the LHS, and you get that answer as a 1 there. Indirectly, we are using the identities there. Circular identity like sine square v plus cos square v is 1, and hyperbolic identity as a cos h square u minus sin h square u is 1. If anyone have any doubt, yeah, you can ask. So if you complete it, tell me. We'll move to the next question then. If someone is on the chat, let I check. Why there is a plus sign by Rishang? It is a hyperbolic identity. We already learned Osborn's rule. Osborn's rule to convert circular identity to the hyperbolic. What is the circular identity that we have? We have the circular identity as a cos of a plus b. I'll write it here. Cos of a plus b is a cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. Now, if we want hyperbolic identity corresponding to that circular identity, first thing we would replace circular functions by corresponding hyperbolic functions. So it becomes cos hyperbolic of a plus b, cos hyperbolic a, cos hyperbolic b, sin hyperbolic a, and sin hyperbolic b. And second rule, second point of Osborn's rule says whenever there is a product of sine functions, it is a negated. It is negated means already if it is a minus, that is converted as plus. If it is plus, that is minus. So because of that, this plus sign appeared there. I hope it's clear now. This we already discussed in the last session actually.
Sir,
Any other?
if there will be two sine functions product,
Uh,
and one is circular sine function and another is hyperbolic sine function, then the minus will not come, no, sir?
Actually, you are converting circular identity to the hyperbolic. So it will never happen. It is mixing there. Na? So mixing results are not there. Mixed results are not there. First of all, we have circular functions, circular identities that we converted to the hyperbolic. Na? Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Getting, sir.
Okay, so you don't worry, there will not be any mixed part there. If there is a mixed part, which things you should use? You should use this one. So you can observe here is a mixed thing, na? Here cos hyperbolic u is there and circular is also there. Hyperbolic and circular.
Yes, sir.
So you have to use
Yes, sir.
this result. Cos of iv is cos hyperbolic v then. Suppose you want to convert cos v into hyperbolic, you have to write it as cos hyperbolic iv then. This cos v can be written as cos hyperbolic iv. There is no,
Okay, sir.
nothing comes about sign there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that about the first question. Let I move to the next question here. Question number 2. Question is a separate tan inverse of x plus iy into real and imaginary parts. You can try it first. Tan inverse of x plus iy into real and imaginary part. Okay, so we'll start it here. The first thing we have to separate this into real and imaginary part. Tan inverse of x plus iy. So let I will say alpha plus I beta is a tan inverse x plus iy. That means we are assuming that alpha is a real part of tan inverse of x plus iy and beta is the imaginary part of tan inverse of x plus iy. So indirectly the question is reduced to we have to find out the values of alpha and beta. Our aim is to get alpha and beta. Now one of the way, if we convert this tan inverse in the left hand side, we get tan alpha plus I beta, and if we simplify it, we get x and y in terms of alpha beta. But our aim is to get alpha beta in terms of xy. Okay. So for that, there is one property you should remember this. Whenever alpha plus I beta is a tan inverse of x plus iy, then alpha minus I beta is its conjugate is a tan inverse of x minus iy. So this is already you are given in the formula list. You can go in the formula list and you will find this thing there. Okay. So this is one thing that you should remember for mainly tan inverse only. Okay. So whenever alpha plus I beta is a tan inverse of x plus iy, alpha minus I beta is a tan inverse of x minus iy. So this minus sign comes on both sides there. Okay. Now it is easy to get now alpha and beta. So we get 2 alpha. 2 alpha is tan inverse of x plus iy plus tan inverse of x minus iy, because we are added these two equation together by adding these two equation. Now is there any result, tan inverse a plus tan inverse b? Can you write it tan inverse a plus tan inverse b in one of the form? It is a tan inverse of, yes, anyone? Tan inverse a plus tan inverse b is a tan inverse of a plus b, that is x plus iy plus x minus iy divided by 1 minus ab. You know this result? Good. If not, yes, remember. So tan inverse of a plus b is a tan inverse of a plus b upon 1 minus ab. Now just we have to simplify. This is a tan inverse of. So obviously this minus iy plus iy gets cancelled. We get 2x divided by 1 minus, yes, this is x plus iy into x minus iy. This is x square. Is it x square plus y square? Is that
Yes, sir, absolutely, it is that.
x
Yes, sir.
square plus y square? You'll observe the inner part, that is completely real. This is completely real. So we should not, there is no need to convert into real and imaginary. So it is free from iota. So we got 2 alpha as tan inverse of 2x upon 2x upon. So what is the value of alpha then? This gives us alpha equal to 1 by 2 times tan inverse of 2x divided by 1 minus x square minus y square, and that is the end of the question. We got a real part. This is a real part, but one more thing is there. We have to find out beta also. So the value of real part of a tan inverse of x plus iy is 1 by 2 times tan inverse of 2x upon 1 minus x square minus y square. The result that we used here is this one, tan inverse of a plus tan inverse b is tan inverse of a plus b divided by 1 minus ab. So that is the result we use there for this. So similarly, you complete the beta exactly similar way. How to get a beta now? Yes. How to get a beta?
Subtract both
Yes,
equations.
you have to
Subtract
just
1
subtract.
and
Finally,
Yeah,
we
very
will
good.
put value of x,
Nice. Correct,
value of
correct.
alpha.
Exactly, parallel calculation is there to get a beta. Just do a subtraction of these two equation. If you take alpha plus I beta minus alpha minus I beta, alpha gets cancelled and you get 2 I beta equal to. Okay, you can start it.
Sir, I would like to tell one thing, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if it is tan inverse A minus tan inverse B, then it will be equal to tan inverse A minus B upon 1 plus AB. Is it correct?
Correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So I will start it here. It is a similar calculation already I told. So alpha plus I beta is there. So I will say now we are subtracting. So 2I beta is this one, subtraction. So this is minus and this is a plus now. This is a minus, this is a minus and this is plus. So these are the changes now. So because of that now x will get cancelled. X will get cancelled here and it will come this is a iy plus iy is a 2iy and denominator is near about same, only plus sign will be there. Okay, now this is 2I beta. So I will say beta is, now you'll observe if I multiply both sides by iota or first of all this is a, I will write it as it is 1 upon 2 iota, 1 of beta is a 1 upon 2 iota. Now what is the tan inverse of 2 iota y? So if you want to take this iota outside, we should write it as iota tan h inverse. So circular is converted to the hyperbolic, tan h inverse of 2y divided by 1 plus x square plus y square. So this is one more thing that you should know, that if we want to remove, this iota, if you want to take iota outside, so tan is odd function, so iota will come out and circular is converted to the hyperbolic. Okay, so that's one. So again that iota will get cancelled and we get beta as the final answer. Beta is 1 by 2 times tan h inverse of 2y upon 1 plus x square plus y square. And that's the final answer here. This is the imaginary part there. Someone is on the chat. Let I check. Remember, beta you cannot keep in iota form. It is imaginary part. Imaginary, even though this is the silly mistake that many of the students do in the exam. When the question is write a real and imaginary part, suppose x plus iy is there, they are writing real part is x and imaginary part is iota y. So iota y is not an imaginary part. That iota is just a connected sign which indicates that y is imaginary part. Are you getting? So beta should be free from iota. This beta should be free from iota. Then only you are saying it is imaginary part. So don't write iota in the imaginary part. Remember. If any doubt, yes, you can ask. So can we move to the last question then for today? If you've done this, if you don't have any doubt.
Done, sir.
Done. Okay, very good. So this is one last question on hyperbolic. Separate sine inverse of cos theta plus I sine theta into real and imaginary parts. Into real and imaginary parts. So again we'll start. Let sine inverse of this cos theta plus I sine theta is equal to that alpha plus I beta. Alpha plus I beta. So indirectly we have to find out alpha and beta. it is just like a previous question, that tan inverse of x plus iy. Okay, but the best part in tan inverse of x plus iy is when there is a tan inverse of x plus iy as alpha plus I beta, tan inverse of x minus iy is alpha minus I beta. That is only true for tan inverse. Remember, it's not true for sine inverse. So here we cannot go in that way. We cannot go that way, that we can find alpha minus I beta there. Instead, yeah, we have to take this sign on the left hand side. So this is a cos theta plus I sine theta is a sine of alpha plus I beta. Use the sine formula there. It is a sine A cos B plus cos A sine B. This is sine of A plus B formula. But yes, we know this sine alpha as it is. Cos I beta is a cos hyperbolic beta plus cos alpha. Now this is a I times sine hyperbolic beta. So we'll equate real and imaginary part. Equating real and imaginary part, we get cos theta is sine alpha cos hyperbolic beta, and sine theta is cos alpha into sine hyperbolic beta. What is our aim? Our aim is to get the values of which thing here? We have to find out alpha and beta. Is that our aim is to get alpha and beta? Now how to get alpha and beta from these two equations? How to get? How to get the values of alpha and beta? Anyone? No one is answering actually. So if we square and add cos square theta plus sine square theta,
By dividing both the equations.
correct. Dividing, dividing we are not see our aim is to get a real and imaginary part. If we divide, we get tan alpha into tan hyperbolic beta or something like that. But what is next? How we get alpha and beta separately? So first we square and add here. So we get sine square alpha cos h square beta plus cos square alpha sine h square beta, and that is this one. Okay, now this value is 1. We already know this is 1. This 1 is equal to. Now let me try to remove one of the variable here, or we try to convert everything cosine in terms of only sine. So sorry, all alpha terms in sine and all beta terms in the reverse. You can do everything is in sine, everything in sine, or everything in cosine, or vice versa. The choice is yours. So here is the sine square alpha. So I'll keep sine square alpha as it is. If we replace, here is 1 minus sine square alpha. 1 minus sine square alpha. Let me try. Cos h square beta so what happens here, collect the terms of sine alpha together. This is one term, and when you multiply this with that, that is also one of the term. So I can I write here sine square alpha in bracket cos h square beta and this is minus sine h square beta. This is the common from first and last term plus sine h square beta as it is. This multiplication with the first term as it is. Can anyone tell me what is the value of the bracket? What is the value of this bracket?
1, sir.
It is 1. Okay. So we got 1 is equal to sine square alpha plus sine h square beta. Okay, let me write on the next. Can I erase this? So we get 1 equal to sine square alpha. This is sine square of this is 1 actually. Okay, plus sine h square beta. So next it can be written as 1 minus sine square alpha sine h square beta. But 1 minus sine square is cos square. We're given some condition actually where into real and where theta is a positive acute angle. Okay, that's only given. And we got here everything is in cos square alpha is equal to sine h square beta that we got. Now how to proceed here? Actually, cos alpha is here. Cos alpha can we write as sine h beta? Okay. Yes, we want the value of these equations will again important. Whatever we got earlier, I'll give that as equation 1. So let me replace the value of say sine h beta. So what is the sine h beta? I will write it here. Cos alpha, one of
Sine
the
square beta by cos square alpha.
yes. So this is a equation number 2. I'll say by 1 and 2. By 1 and 2. See sine theta is sine theta as it is. This is cos alpha. Sine h beta is also cos alpha. So I will say cos square alpha. Cos square alpha. So already it is given the theta is a positive acute angle. Okay. So if theta is a positive acute angle, acute means below 90 degree. So what is the value of sine theta? Sine theta is a positive or negative?
Positive.
It is a positive. Okay, sine theta is a positive. Hence, we
Sir,
can
how you are getting sine theta is equal to cos square alpha?
from 1 and 2. What is the value of sine h beta? Cos alpha, na? Here is sine h beta. We replace it by cos alpha. Cos alpha into cos alpha is cos square alpha. Sine theta is cos square alpha.
Okay, okay.
So thus we get, or we want actually alpha only. Alpha and beta is our aim. So first of all, we say cos alpha. Cos alpha is a root of sine theta. Obviously that is a positive. And alpha is just 1 minute. It is a cos inverse of root sine theta, and that is the answer for alpha. This is the real part. We just finished the real part there because our aim is at the end to get alpha and beta. We got alpha as a cos inverse of root of sine theta. Cos inverse of root of sine theta. Yes, any doubt there in getting alpha? Little bit tricky, but yes, you should know. You should focus where what we want actually. If the question is on tan inverse, remember it's a very simple question. We already finished. We already finished the question on tan inverse. Because the tan inverse, there is one property, and that property we use it and we get quickly the answer. But there is no property for sine inverse, cos inverse, and others. So you have to go like this in the other cases. Now we got alpha. Similarly, we can compute a beta, beta also. Now to get a beta, Beta is a little lengthy there, but yeah, okay, we can compute. To get a beta here, in this equation also, if we replace the value of cos alpha is, you'll observe cos alpha is a root sine theta, na?
Yes, sir.
If you replace that, so you get sine hyperbolic beta is a root sine theta. Sine hyperbolic beta is a root sine theta, so beta is sine h inverse of root sine theta. I'll write it the remaining here. Can I erase few of the steps there? I'll erase this part.
Sir, if we multiply iota in equation 2, then
Which one? Equation?
2.
Now if we erase, that is also okay. But yes, we want beta, na? We
So if
want
we
beta.
multiply both sides with iota, then we'll get sine I beta.
If we multiply by iota, this will comes iota times sine hyperbolic beta means sine of I beta.
I beta.
But we don't want alpha, na? We want everything in theta form because original things are in theta there. Are you getting? This is theta. So by 2 first we get sine hyperbolic beta is a cos alpha, and that is cos alpha is nothing but,
Can you use different coloring?
okay, no issue.
Yes, sir, not visible properly.
So by 2 we have sine hyperbolic beta is a cos alpha, and that is equal to, but here I will say this is a 3 equal to root sine theta. It's a by 3. So beta is sine h inverse of root sine theta, and that is the imaginary part. This is the end of the question. If someone is not interested, to keep this as answer, he can use one more formula. Can you know? Can you recall the formula? Sine h inverse of x. What is sine h inverse of x? No one. Log of x plus root of x square plus 1. Is that? Log of x plus root of x square plus 1. If you want that, you can write this beta as log of root of sine theta plus root of 1 plus sine theta there. That is also the answer. So the final answer, real and imaginary parts. The real and imaginary parts are here. This is the real part. Real part is alpha is a cos inverse of root sine theta, and imaginary part is sine h inverse of root sine theta. And this also can be written as log of root sine theta plus square root of 1 plus sine theta. That is also the correct. Okay, whatever the answer you want, you can keep it, because sine h inverse x is a log of x plus root of x square plus 1. We seen that formula there. Any doubt?